the weaker eurozone core inflation, which came in at 0.9, which is quite a miss. And this is kind of the area which I'm going to start focusing on, as to where I was originally long, and then kind of how I used the market kind of reaction in here to then gauge where I wanted to be focused on. And that was really back above the 73s, where I was kind of thinking, if the market holds a good bid, I'm really interested in buying, starting to kind of position in here for a market to test up towards these 95s to take out the kind of Draghi high. If I can, sorry, scroll on my chart. So this with the kind of Draghi high which we made, and obviously as the week's gone on, we've had this comment denied, and so on and so forth, and then obviously we've had this morning's weak inflation. So there was a lot of things, other than the price action, which this morning was kind of leading you to believe this move was kind of be retraced. So yeah, let me bring up the ladder if I open it here. So this is just after we've had the release of the inflation figure, and basically, like I said, where I was kind of focused was above the 70s. It was above the 73s, and the high we made on the inflation number was 70s. So what I was kind of gauging was, okay, right, is this market? We'd had a lot of kind of washbacks, a lot of pulling of both bids and offers in this very small range, five tick range or so. And something for me was trying to gauge was whether this market was going to kind of continue to wash and fall back, or was it going to break now? So yeah, like I said, I was originally long, and then I actually covered everything, and then which was, I mean, it was okay, but then for me it was right. Okay, the bid kind of starts to firm up once it re-breaks the 70s. So, and if you guys have been trading the Bund recently, it's been quite tricky at times the way it's sort of there's like kind of lot. There's not, I wouldn't say spoofing, but lots of pulling of bids and offers, and not actual much size is trading at times, and it's kind of misleading. It's misleading when you're trying to trade, especially in like breakout kind of initiative trades. So we test up above 70s, and then we fall back. Let me just speed this up a little bit so we can get onto when we actually do break. So I cover everything. Okay, fine. Let me just play normal speed. And then basically I was always thinking that I was going to be relatively kind of distributing my clip between 73s and 79s. I wasn't too sure as to how this market was going to trade above this current high, but once the market starts to firm up, so let me see if I can, this is where the market, okay, so we start to trade above 73s, and I start distributing quarters, and then my kind of thinking behind is when the market starts to really show its aggression above 79s, and kind of confirms my idea, was to start being more aggressive. And as you kind of see, when the market kind of bids over like this in this kind of nature, it didn't really trade. The delta was really strong. So for me now, like I say, I'm going to start to manage my risk between 73s and 79s, and then like I say, just distribute and time my size accordingly. I have really good conviction in this market breaking up aggressively if we do take 79s. So between here and 79s, it's just a matter of not getting too aggressive and potentially having to pick up into kind of these smaller washbacks we're getting, which are quite common. But the main thing about this kind of the shift between when we took out the 70s and what we were doing before is we do have washbacks, but the bid is the way in which it kind of reloads was really important for me. The delta was strong, and when it was lifting prices, it was being very aggressive and cleaning prices out straight away. So now as we kind of pull back to 72s, we kind of do get this, like I said, the reloading is what I kind of like to see. So the way in which the market starts to, the bid's a lot firmer. Yeah, we are trading into the bid, but it's nice to actually see the market kind of auction. You can see it trade out these prices. So this is all kind of in my expectations of what the market was going to kind of do. Again, we're kind of seeing size trade into 72s, but down to 71s and instantly go bid 72s again. So this was all kind of what I wanted to see. I should really be lifting 73s here, 74s. I believe I do. Whether I lift 73s or 74s. So yeah, this is kind of that was a good kind of the first response to this area was really positive. Um, you know, that was so you kind of now you can kind of work your size. Your it's a lot more kind of comfortable, I guess, in this sense. So yeah, now it's between here and 79. Like I said, we're kind of looking for that market to kind of really speed up and break up quite aggressively. And then once it does do that, is then about kind of trading the stop until we kind of reach the target of around 95s, and managing the position between there and the target. So again, my stop in here kind of is really tight stop. I'm kind of going to start paying down around 71s, 70s is kind of a bit of volume. You know, the market should kind of hold this kind of low volume initiative area. In this kind of small 2-3 tick range, it should really kind of just accumulate if we are kind of push the 79s now. So again, the way the market kind of bids over, notice how kind of we reload, and again how I'm slightly cautious to be aggressive at higher prices until we break 79s, just because, you know, this can kind of fall back again. Whilst I'm here, whereas when like above 79s, I'm really convicted if I see the good bright energy to kind of to put my size on and start actually going at the market with big clips. So as you can kind of see here, we still have that kind of flipping, pulling of bids and offers type of price action. So let me just speed it up slightly for us. But again, you know, when it is like this, notice how firm the bid is in terms of, okay, it is kind of pulling him and not trading prices that clearly, but when it does start to firm up, the bid is really kind of strong, and you'll start to see that more so over 79s. And the nature of this kind of rally is, if it is a short covering rally, then it kind of goes bid over in that sense. So this is kind of when you see the market start to block up and not trade prices, but the bid's really strong. When it does, you sort of trade into the bid. It's kind of what you wanted to see, and it makes it harder for you to, you know, start lifting prices. You know, this is why you need to know, okay, right, I'm looking to kind of position between 73 and 79, and then start to get aggressive on the break of the 79s, given the right price action. And the conditions you saw around 73s kind of persisting, and that's when you can kind of really, you know, start to take on a lot more size. When you're just trying to position it and get a feel for the market and the flows. And as you kind of see, the BTPs are offering, BTS is offered, the Euros offered, 66s was the equivalent high in the bobble, which kind of relieves this whole move, kind of being led by the short end. Again, we see the euro being, you know, heavily offered. So I believe here let me just pause it for us quickly. So 17s go bid, get normal speed now. 18s bid over. Notice how we kind of bid over like this, trade into the bid, instantly reloaded, nice and firm, and then kind of lift. So the minute we kind of, you know, we kind of blipped up and we had this sort of bid over price action between 78, 79, 80. Okay, for me it was just a matter of trying to get filled here, and just I wasn't too worried about what price I was paying in here. I mean, you could have been more aggressive, but you know, everything was kind of confirming your idea at this point. The delta was really strong. You could even have the start trailing out below 79s, given how we had this kind of low volume sort of stop up area, 79s, 80s. This nice bit of low volume. And yeah, like I say, it was all about managing my risk now between here and the 95s. And as to how, you know, the market, oh sorry guys, probably, yeah. And as to how, yeah, we were kind of trading here. And like I said, the market starts to get more aggressive as the higher it goes, which is kind of how I was expecting this move to pan out, if it was going to be, you know, as expected. So it's all about kind of knowing where your risk is, and then just going to let the market kind of do its thing from here. And then, as you see, the market gets a lot more aggressive the higher it goes. And if you are someone who's trying to now attack highs in this area, it's quite, you know, you can kind of buy the high, pay down 2 ticks, buy again, and it's very kind of whippy in this area whilst it's sort of trading up in here. And yeah, it's just kind of all about letting it go ahead with its in the direction it's trying to go. So As you kind of see, the market then starts to push higher. And then for me, once with my trail here, so I know the area of which I think I should at least trade. And then once it kind of starts to approach these areas, and you see this big 3,500 lot trade on the offer here, is about using the kind of churning areas of the market when it does have these two 3-tick pullbacks. Is then using these areas of churn to kind of start to trail your stop. So as you see here, I'm kind of hovering on the low volume area, this kind of the peak of the volume. I don't want to see it fall back into this area. If the market's strong, it should continue to push away, leave these areas free. So this is kind of how I'm starting trading my stop. So again, notice how we down tick, reload, really nice how we reload. Again, we're kind of down ticking again. Notice how we still have all the risk off flows. The market still kind of is reloading that bid nicely at higher prices. And kind of similar to this initial move up here when we sort of blipped up. This is the kind of, once you see it do it once, I'm kind of thinking, right, okay, this is now the type of, this is the type of price action we're seeing. The way it's trading out is in this kind of way, and it's very kind of, blocky, and it starts to kind of skip away from you. That's kind of what I continue to expect until we trade out these areas. And obviously now I'm just kind of bearing in mind as to how we trade around these 93s for the time being. And again now, so we see some clips, 1,500 lots into the big offer. So I'm going to start to scale out a little bit, but very small. Just still keep my position, pretty good position for the break of the 95s. Because like I say, in these areas here, it's very hard to, for the market, whether how deep a pullback we're going to have from here, and how much open P&L you're willing to risk in order to, to break the level which you're expecting it to. You're starting to risk more in not covering into these areas when the market's kind of sitting there, as opposed to when it say fall back 5-6 ticks and then it comes back again or so. So now we kind of continue to push up into here. And we have, I think, one more push up, we have one more small flush, and then I scale out of the majority of my size. So, but yeah guys, the kind of premise of this this video is in kind of how I distribute my clip initially, and then how when you kind of got that real confirmation, so you had this poor CPI number, and that it was very kind of felt muted, and then the bid sort of changed quite distinctly between 73 and 79, so that was kind of your cue to start positioning. And then once we kind of did trade the 79s, it was okay, right, okay, kind of executing the rest of your size, or as much size as you felt comfortable with at that point, and then having a really tight stop back below 79s really, and then just kind of letting the market, then about managing and scaling properly once the market kind of started to show that aggressive stopping price action. It's probably gonna, it's gonna continue more often than not to trend in that in that manner. So i.e. like this kind of blocky bid over price action, occasionally stopping up at times in areas you may think it's likely to do so. So this high we made on this first push was double O's.